PlayStation Vita, and hey, here we are now, February 15th. First people. We're almost there.
We're almost there.
And 22nd for everybody else. So, we figured it's time to answer whatever remaining questions you've got. I'm Jefff Rubinstein from the PlayStation blog, PlayStation Blogcast, Facebook and Twitter and such things. And this is John Kohler, the Senior Director of Hardware and PlayStation handhelds. And really, you know more than anybody else in this building about the Vita. So that's why you're here. And you here on Ustream, PlayStation blog, Twitter, Facebook, and PlayStation Home. Thank you very much for joining us. This is what happened. We put out a call on Friday, and we said, all right, well, what do you want to know? And make sure you tag it for PS Vita chat. We got hundreds, if not thousands of questions in. We collated really some of the best ones, the things that came up the most often, like PS1 classics, like remote play, like what game do you get if you validate your 3G with AT&T? And we're going to answer these questions today. And we've actually got a few other surprises. We can talk a little bit about Resistance Burning Skies. We might see a few other things that haven't been seen yet. And so, well, let's jump right into the questions.
Yeah, let's do it.
Ready to go?
Yeah.
All right, so first one coming in from 0P1 on Twitter. He says, if you were to only able to list one cool best feature about Vita, what would it be?
Well, I'll tell you, it's got to be the new ways to play, the new ways to control. I launched the PSP here in North America, and I don't think a day went by, maybe not an hour, before someone said, where's that second analog stick? So the second analog stick was really a critical part of this whole control scheme. But other revelations came to us as we went along. One of them was we were playing Assassin's Creed on an iPhone, maybe a year into design of the Vita, and it's a great game, and you're getting your fingers all over the front touch, but your fingers kept getting in the way of what's really a nice, beautifully designed game. And so we said, wouldn't it be great if you got your fingers out of the way? And thus was born the rear touchpad. So there's certain things that existed out in the market that we wanted to just change and do something different. I think we've really got something here with Vita.
All right, I promise there won't all be softballs like that.
Yeah, that one's a good one.
All right, so Andy WX asked us on Twitter. He goes, how did the name Vita come about?
It's kind of another one.
Well, yeah, we're underhanded.
We'll get this one. Yeah, this is actually because I wanted to use Latin from high school. That's why. No, the real reason is because Vita means life in Latin, and we really wanted to engender this whole idea of you living your life and taking Vita along with it, and it interacting with your world and your environment as you live your life, just kind of out naturally, organically in the world. So, we have a great console business. We are inside of four walls playing with the console, but we have a lot of time outside of our four walls, and wouldn't it be great if we could carry that PlayStation experience anywhere you went? And thus, Vita allows you to do that. And we'll talk a little bit about that later, but just being able to interact with your environment, interact with your PS3, lots of different ways that you can change the way you game.
Well, actually, this is a good chance. Roddy, if you don't mind, Roddy's our cameraman. You'll be seeing plenty of him today. How you doing, Roddy? If you don't mind stepping up here, I kind of want to show near, because this is something that we've talked about, but I don't know that everyone's gotten to see. So right now, I'm going to crank the volume up here. See that? Yeah, there we go. Yeah. All right, so I've just launched near. This is the out and about, and what's cool is I can see in the different places I go to, you check in on your location, and we're here at 989 Studios on Hillsdale Boulevard in lovely, rainy Bay Area in the peninsula, and now it's going to just load up, and it's going to see, all right, who around here is on the Vita, and I'm going to start seeing people pop up, and there's obviously a whole ton of people that are showing up because we're in PlayStation HQ. I'd be very worried if there were not this many people. So I'm seeing people with orange glows under them, and this I know is Ray because he likes her from Street Fighter 4, and I can see all the game that he's been playing, and I've run into him a lot, and that's the reason why he's got that orange glow underneath him. And some of the other people here, it's just really cool to see Giant Bombing. That's Jeff Gersman from Giant Bomb. I guess he was here recently because he's here, and I know he's been playing a lot of the same games as I have. So it's just really nice to see that, and you can see what people are playing the same things as you. And then you can challenge them, or maybe you want to befriend them and play against them. So it's really cool to sometimes see. Even I live in the South Bay, and there's like 30 people nearby within a couple of miles that have a Vita that I guess imported from Japan. And it's just really cool. You never feel like you're alone with it.
And what's great about it too is if you take it with the 3G model, you're actually able to go out in the world and have the digital gifts and the treasure hunts, and maybe you could leave something at a local coffee shop or something for me to pick up as I go by, and it changes the way you game.
Speaking of which, I have some game goods here, which are the gifts that are left, and pretty much everyone I know that's been playing Super Stardust Delta since it came out, what happens is when you run into people like that, it unlocks a track. So this is Steven Totillo. So because we're friends on PSN, hi Kotaku, it will unlock a gift from him and some people from Nation. There's Shinobito, which I haven't even gotten to play yet, but someone nearby has played that, and now I can unlock something. So it's just really kind of fun just to have that little surprise. You see the blue light blinking, and then you know that there's something waiting for you when you turn on the Vita.
Yeah, and I mean, and not to mention, let's compare trophies, right? So you can, the ultimate thing is just being able to see how you rank.
Exactly.
How you do.
And maybe we'll jump into that a little bit later. Let's answer some more questions. So, two legit gaming bros said or say, or singular or plural, don't know. I know Facebook, Skype, and Foursquare have been announced, but when will they be available? Vita's not even out yet.
Yeah, it's coming though, so it'll be they'll be available day one. So when you purchase your hardware, get your hardware, go to the PlayStation Network store, you'll be able to download those immediately. And let's talk about those for a second because those are really important. We're not going to be an Android marketplace or something like that long term, but we are going to have very targeted apps, something that makes a lot of sense for the Vita gamer. And when you look at Facebook and you look at Twitter and Foursquare and Skype and some of the other things, you're going to see a real kind of concerted effort to make sure that it's unique to how you use a Vita or how you'd go out and interact with the world. So let's show that here. I've got
do you
Facebook
mind, Rodney?
here.
Do you mind
let's
jumping
cruise
over
on
here?
back over on this side.
We're gonna make you work for it today.
So you can see we got Facebook loaded here. This is Jeff's. You got it here. You guys got that? There we go. You can see that.
Pics.
So there you go. Some pics of Jeff. We kind of comped the ones out that weren't right for.
Yeah.
But anyway, so you could see here, and kind of interesting. You can actually use the rear touch to kind of get the ones that you want and isolate on them. It's very interesting. So again, kind of using new ways to control. Also works with Facebook. But certainly everything that you would know and love about Facebook, everything from your feeds to your media to info to everything that's naturally on some other devices. But what's unique is kind of how you interact with the media. So something that's very, very, very cool.
All right. I don't know if you mentioned Twitter, but we're just going to make you run over here again.
You're running a lot here.
You wore running shoes, right, Roddy? So I wanted to show Twitter. I think we've seen it a couple times. This, I guess, will be more proof that we are live. So I've got the PlayStation Twitter hooked up here, and I just will go ahead and we are live stream. I'm not a good speller. Streaming. Is that right? Yes? No? Now.
Yeah, proof that we're live. Right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So this will go out.
Yay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and tweet that out, and then it should show up on twitter.com very quickly. And hey, Geese and Cacho. And yeah, so that's how that works, and it should be showing up here. There we go. We are live streaming now. Yay. And I think we also had Foursquare going as well.
Foursquare, yeah. Let's just show
Last time I'm going to do this to you, I swear.
Sorry, I'm making you run all over, but just showing kind of the interface. This is just going to be the interface here. We have a dummy account, so if you can get this here, you can just kind of take a look. But you can switch back and forth between the various areas that you're very familiar with, most likely with Foursquare. Friends, this is a dummy account again, so there's no friends nearby, but you can go to check-in, explore, to-do, and who you are. Very clearly, you'd want to use this when you're on the road, but it's also kind of interesting how this plays in with like the Near aspect, because Near is kind of a gaming Foursquare, and Foursquare is obviously something that you would utilize as you go out in the world as well. So, very clearly, these are ways that you can continue to communicate with your gaming community.
All right, so I think we need to give Roddy a break. I can hear him panning over there. So why don't we take a really quick break, and let's take a look at a brand new trailer. It came out first this morning. You might not have seen it yet. New trailer for Uncharted Golden Abyss. We'll be back with more questions right after this.
Great veins of gold course through the walls as blood from the beast of Mammon.
You do know this says keep up.
Yeah, I know that. We got special permission.
And there below the throne of the morning star, a golden abyss to guard the gate to hell.
It's just the beginning. Come on. You two were getting all cozy down there.
Move! Move!
PlayStation.
All right, welcome back to the PlayStation live chat for PS Vita. I'm Jeff Rubinstein if you're just joining us, and this is John Kohler. I'm from the PlayStation blog, and this is the man that knows everything about PlayStation Vita hardware, our senior director of PlayStation hardware. So why don't we just do some more questions here? How about that? All right, Folgers66, that's quality coffee, says, will Vita, we're live, will Vita-specific games typically receive DLC, updates, patches, the type of ecosystem we have like on the PS3?
Yeah, and actually they will. So most of the games that you play are going to have some kind of DLC associated with it. You're going to have those patches that you're used to, those updates. I think it's actually really interesting to see, and it kind of just shows the power of Vita that you're actually able to continue playing. I think one of the things we really wanted to do with PSP but couldn't quite get our tech heads around was how do we kind of continue to add to the gaming experience. And so now Vita is such that it allows you to do that. Uncharted won't have DLC, though. I think that was one question that Folgers had, but most of the other games will.
Okay. Let's keep rolling here. Omaya X asked us, super excited to get my Vita on the 22nd, but will the Vita play PS1 games? We got this question in a million different forms from people. This was the most succinct way of putting it. Vita, PS1 classics.
Yeah, so let's talk about two things that are from the older days. First of all, let's start with PSP, because PSP games will be able to be played on Vita. Those games that are up on the network now on the PS Store, you'll be able to either purchase them, or if you already have previously purchased them, they're yours, and you'll be able to just download them. You have license to them forever, and they are actually nicely up-res so that the game looks fantastic in basically high definition.
There's a cool little thing, actually, I don't mean to derail you, but actually if you hold down onto the screen, if you're playing a PSP game that you've downloaded, and we have a list of 275 titles that are the first bunch of titles to come through, but let's say you pick, God of War, Chains of Olympus. You hold down on the screen for a second, and a menu will pop up, and then you can actually assign the right stick to have different values. There's sort of a couple of different visual settings that you can tweak to, for up-resing and stuff. So it's something that just hold your finger on the screen, and it's going to pop up.
It's pretty cool, too, because then it changes the way you play that game, too. So you may have played it on the PSP, but it changes entirely, not only based on the graphics you see, but on the way that you control it. But then to your PS1 question, those won't be available at launch, but we actually will have them, we'll say shortly in the future. It's something we're actively working on. Again, we wanted to make sure that the PSP games were first. They're there. And not only do we have the 275, but those will grow by a few hundred over the next few months. But the PS1 games are next, and we'll rest assured we'll have those ready to go here soon.
Okay, very frequently asked question. PS1 classics will be coming. Another question here from, I think that's the Leet Speak spelling of Fallout, says, can you change settings in games like Uncharted to not use touch controls at all?
I think we just saw in that video kind of the various ways that you can control. I was playing Uncharted a lot this weekend. I would have shown up on your playing that most of the weekend. But I think what Uncharted does is it allows you to kind of play in a bunch of different ways. So you can choose if you'd like to utilize more analog stick than you do touch, but kind of gives you that choice. It depends on the game, though, really. Like, you're going to have to see if the game settings allow you to change the way that you control. I think that most people are going to kind of have a mix of all the different ways you control in Vita. It makes it most special.
Yeah, and I think that one of the things that we've seen, the into aim with Uncharted Golden Abyss, it's you can use it just to slightly amplify. You line up your shot and then just a little bit of tilt. And I've been playing Super Stardust over the weekend, and I'm using it. Super Stardust is a dual stick shooter, and that's what you do. But to just get it sort of like a peer over, just to see like are more ships coming over sort of the horizon, just a slight tilt. So it's just a small little smidge. It's not like, hey, I'm just going to be doing this the whole time, because that's not really the case.
You get a game like Wipeout too, right? Like you can choose to do this if you want, or you can just use the sticks, or you can use the D-pad. So a lot of different ways you can play these games.
All right, very cool. So more of your questions are going to be answered as we continue on here today, and we also have some more surprises coming up, some things that we haven't really talked about too much. So right now we're going to take another quick break. I'm thirsty. So let's show a video showcasing some of the great features of PlayStation Vita.
The PlayStation Vita inspires new ways to game. With PS Vita, new gaming experiences are possible. Vita's new control features make it easy to play. Now, the biggest and best games are even better. Change the way you play. With the AT&T broadband network, experience real-time connection to your gaming community. PS Vita 3G plus Wi-Fi lets you play when you want and in more locations. With Party, you can invite other players to the game and voice chat during gameplay, even if you're not playing the same game. With the PS Vita, you can create your own levels and content. The Near app lets you find other players nearby and allows you to share gifts with them. Continually updating leaderboards allow you to post your top scores and keep an eye on the competition. Discover augmented reality. With the Vita's front and rear cameras, what you see in your world becomes a part of what you play on your Vita. Never stop playing with PlayStation Vita.
PlayStation.
So a lot of news stories hit this morning on all the different gaming blogs and sites, reviews of the hardware, reviews of different games and everything. And so there was just an absolute ton of stuff to be reading about on the Vita, stuff you don't have to take our word for, what people like and what they think you should get on launch day. So definitely when you're done watching this live stream, just throw a dart, hit a gaming website, and you're going to find something written about the Vita today. So let's do a few more questions here. JJ 1974N says, other than GPS, will there be any other differences between the 3G Wi-Fi and the Wi-Fi only versions of the Vita?
Yeah, this is a really good question and one that we get quite a bit. So if a few of you don't think we're answering your particular question, we're trying to sum it all up into one. But so what we've been talking about forever with 3G and the Wi-Fi differences or some of the feature and benefits. We'll get into that in a second. But I think the first thing to note is that all of you know what 3G is on your phones, and it's not that. So it's not, the Vita is not a phone. It's not something that you're going to hold up to your ear and talk. So throw that aside. 3G gaming as Vita defines it, is much different than what you may see on a phone or a tablet, and that's why we do think it's so important. What you get with 3G on Vita is a number of things. First of all, and you mentioned GPS, but a very crisp GPS. The GPS chip is actually included in the 3G SKU, so you actually get a very particular location. You have that in Wi-Fi, but it's done via Wi-Fi, and those of you who know how that works, it's much more general when you triangulate. Not to get too technical, but you get a much more clear picture on your GPS location. So your location-based gaming is much more of an engaging experience. You also get the gifting that we talked about, treasure hunts, the cross-platform play with PS3, and you also get the connectivity anywhere you are, being able to talk to your gaming community. And we know from talking to many of you over the last 4 years how important that is. We want to make sure people can constantly talk and have that communication. So whether you're talking with Skype, whether you're talking with Party, which is our cross-game chat, any of those things, that's facilitated really well with 3G.
Yeah, I mean, and also stuff like Foursquare. I mean, a lot of places you go, there might not be there might not be Wi-Fi where you're available, the browser and other such things.
I will say one thing though, just on the 3G side. So when you purchase the data plan, and we'll get into what that means in a second, you also get access to all the AT&T hotspots across the country. So those are free to you. So if you go into any location, airport, coffee shop, restaurant, you get the hotspot for free.
All right, very cool. Just sort of, before we even get to the next question, some things are coming back to me, things that I've seen on Twitter over the past several days. So, like, a common question is, if I buy the 3G/Wi-Fi version of the system, do I have to turn on the 3G right away? Can I use it as a Wi-Fi system?
Yeah, so this is a good question. So the basis for the data plan that supports from AT&T is that it's no contract. So again, throw out what you know about phones, right? So throw out what you have on your phones. If you're interested in getting in and activating the 3G portion of it on your 3G SKU, you can do that. You can do it for a session, or what we call a month, basically. And then you can back out again if you want, and then you can jump back in whenever you'd like. So it's in or out whenever you'd like, as you see fit. So let's say you buy it on February 22nd, February 23rd, you're like, you know what, I'm good. I've already activated. A couple days later, you're like, you know what, I'll stop. You can go back in and start up 3G again when you go on vacation this summer. So there's no regulation on that at all. We want to make it as open as we could.
And if you turn off that 3G temporarily or whatever, the Wi-Fi still will work.
That's right. Yeah.
So, okay, so I don't know, sort of a good hedge your bet. I
think so.
All right, let's. So this is sort of related. Cam Zabel tweeted to us, and he said, he or she said, "Can you please clarify how the free game and data pass included with the 3G bundle works?" People want to know, what is this game?
Yeah, so let's just talk about the 3G bundle for those of you who don't know. So at launch, in a very limited time basis, I'm going to emphasize that point, it's probably only going to be available maybe for the first week, I'd say, of sell through to all of you. You get a 3G Vita, you get the 8 gig stick, you get a AT&T data pass, a data session pass, and you get a PSN game, and we'll talk about all those in a bit, but a tremendous value for $299. So all that's packed into what you all thought was just the base $299 price. So get out there early and quickly if you can. So the way that the data session pass works is, again, you activate. So February 22nd, you purchase your 3G SKU. You can activate at that time. You enter your payment information. As you enter your payment information, you pay for a session. So whether that's the 250 meg or the 3 gig, either one. And then after completion of that session, you get a free session of 250 megs. And so it's after completion of that first session, you get a free session on top of it. So a really nice bonus, I think, that a lot of people were surprised to get.
All right, and what is the game?
Yeah, the game is Super Stardust, and you actually get it. It's the Vita version, and you get the DLC with it. So there's actually a lot of value. It's a lot of fun. I saw a couple of you guys are playing it. So yeah, so I don't think we've announced that publicly. It's Super Stardust that you would get when you activate.
Yeah, Super Stardust Delta. I think it got a 9.5 from IGN this morning. It
fun.
really is very good, and well, just about all of you are going to get to play it if you you activate. So another question here from SD Davala. Says, how much compatibility will there be between the PS3 and the Vita? How do these things talk?
Yeah, this is a great question, one that we looked at. We started looking at this 4 years ago, and we said, only PlayStation can do something like this. How can we make this a seamless conversation? There's a couple ways that the Vita and the PS3 can talk, and it's a lot different than maybe what you thought of back in the PSP, PS2 days of kind of talking. First way is PS3 versus Vita, and you look at something like Wipeout. Wipeout's a good example of that. And the balancing, if any of you are concerned about that, I win on Vita all the time. So it doesn't necessarily mean just because you have DualShock in your hand that you're going to defeat the Vita gamer. There's a lot of back and forth, a lot of competition in our office, certainly. So Wipeout's a good example of that as first. The second is playing a game on PS3 and then completing it on Vita, and MLB is a good example of that. So that stores in the cloud, and let's say, I got to go to work or I got to go to school, you can actually just continue playing that same season as you go on your Vita. And the third thing is remote play, and so there's a lot of questions about remote play, and we'll talk about that, but remote play is just you have a game in your PS3 and you're able to actually stream it to you anywhere in the world on your Vita. And I think many of you saw Killzone 3 playing at the Tokyo Game Show as kind of a tech demo. Looked absolutely fantastic. I mean, I think you saw it too, Jeff, but it was fantastic. So those are the three ways, and it's a real clean handshake. The Vita and the PS3 share a lot of things, very similar in technology. I think a lot of people have called the Vita PS3 in your pocket. It doesn't have a cell chip, so we don't want to go that far, but in terms of the way that you'd interact, it's very similar.
And you can send messages back and forth.
That's right,
and you see your profile. In fact, you can even get into your account information, things like that.
Yeah, it's actually cool to compare trophies, so you can see your Vita and your PS3 friends are now one. Mm-hmm. Right, so they seamlessly go back and forth.
Yeah, and actually, I don't know. Why don't we? We're unscripted here, but there's a cool thing with the profile that I like, and you get to set a few things. Like when you're on your PS3, you can set your your background color and your avatar, and you can have we'll turn it over here. You can set like a message or something like that, and that is on the Vita as well. But then there's also the Vita adds like another layer here. So we'll see how good the Wi-Fi is here in this building, and then we'll be able to get to it. Oh well, there we are. So you can also pick a background. I don't know if you can see this. Yeah, there we go. And so this is like from Gravity Days. You can pick this background. It's just like a more elaborate background that you can see, and it's just like a couple other little customization things. And while I'm at it, when you're back here on the main thing, you can actually put different images or different colors on any one of these backgrounds. And I didn't do it, but I'm so unprepared.
Yeah,
it's
no, it's all right.
But you can. This
TV.
is something you can do, and just with the customization. And then I guess one other thing, because why not? We're here. We did bring up the trophies, and so I'm just going to pop that open right now, and you can. We're already synced. So yeah, you see your Vita trophies here, and so these are all the things that are there locally, and then you can also go, or you can go in them and see them, and then you can get onto the network, and then you can. It's just going to sync, and it'll bring up my profile. You can do comparing like you do with other stuff. And let me see if...
One of the things that's cool, and I know a lot of people have been asking these questions, is would you share trophies? And in many games, they're different trophies. So you'd actually get 2 different trophies, and you're going to want to do that.
Yeah, I think... Do we have that question coming up later on? We have that question coming up
we'll
later
answer
on.
It again.
Right.
That's,
so this is what I wanted to bring up. So here's what your profile looks like. Do we have that, Roddy? Yeah, there we go. So this is what your profile looks like. This is me. And 3 platinums. Yeah, that's right. I'm real excited because I platinum Skyrim. But you can also launch near, and you can see, other people nearby that are playing these things, and also shared play history with. This is me, but if I clicked on a friend, I can see what games that they're playing that I'm playing, and you can go into the friends list also and just see what people were playing both on the Vita and on the PS3. So just something I wanted to show, and I totally customized this with my my Gravity Days, Gravity Rush background, because that game's going to be awesome. So
yeah. A lot of shared interconnectivity.
All right. So, here's a question that's been coming up just a whole lot. So, Dave UK3 asks, will I be able to, and you kind of touched on this, will I be able to stream and play PS3 games from PS3 to PS Vita via remote play? Because that would be awesome.
Because that would be awesome. So that is one of kind of we call it the 3 legs of the chair for the way that the PS3 and the Vita talk. There aren't any examples that we can point to here at launch because the Killzone 3 example was a tech demo, although it did look great. And I think there was also in the tech demo we showed things of this acting as kind of a controller for the PS3. Again, tech demo, but it just showed the power of it. When you look at remote play on a longer term basis, it's going to certainly be a big part of what Vita is and what the PS3 is. But I think maybe nothing to announce here today, but a lot of games are lined up to participate.
Can you talk to day one what remote play will do for you?
Yeah, so remote play in general is kind of the idea that we had on PSP, and weren't able to get into full fruition because you couldn't take that everywhere with you. You were kind of stuck to Wi-Fi. But anything that's loaded on your hard drive of your PS3 can actually stream over to your Vita anywhere in the world. So if I'm taking a trip to Tokyo or something and my family's back here in San Francisco, they can actually stream video of my son or music or photos or any of the kind of great entertainment functionality of the PS3 over to your Vita, and you see it in the great kind of crystal clear high definition resolution on your handheld.
Okay. So a couple questions came in about augmented reality. We've done a few videos on the wide area augmented reality. El Hilbrito says, will the AR vouchers come in limited quantities?
Not limited quantities. No, they're going to be actually packed into... and let me change the answer a little bit, because they're not vouchers, they're cards, and so the cards are actually being packed in. We can show them over here. They're actually being packed into the box, so you'll get 6 of these.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, they come in right here, and they offer up a wide range of gaming experiences. You download the app for free from the PlayStation Store as soon as you purchase the hardware. So it's, another example. We're offering a lot of kind of free experiences to you who buy it first, but there's really no time limit on these. They're going to be available to all. We wanted to show kind of what the augmented reality experience was before you got into playing a Reality Fighters or a Little Deviants or something that was maybe a little bit more advanced.
And a couple people were writing in and asking, what's the quality of the card like? So they want to know if they have to laminate it or whatever. It's very similar to like a playing card, I'd say. It's sort of got that texture to it. The dog would destroy it, but
one other thing too, because I think many of you have been PlayStation fans for a while, and we do this with Invisimals, and we've done it with a few things. But the Vita is not just a card-based augmented reality technology device. It actually can use wide area. So Reality Fighter is a good example of that. Wide area, you don't need cards. Little Deviants doesn't need cards. AR Play does because of the type of games that we're including, but just know that that's not something that's required for most games.
Okay, and we've done a couple videos. Ray Gutierrez, our video production extraordinaire, put together a few videos on the table soccer game, on the fireworks game, and on the diving game.
Right.
So those are on the blog. You can look those up and just see how we have those demonstrated in real time, and they look really good. So and it's free. So do I really need to talk you into it?
Yeah, it's free. It's me.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to take another real quick break here, and this is going to be a little video about crossplay.
With PlayStation's cross-platform play, you've got game wherever you go. With cross-platform gaming, you can play your PS3 game, pause it, and pick up right where you left off on your Vita. PlayStation 3 and PS Vita players can also go head-to-head, thanks to cross-platform gameplay. And with Remote Play, your PS Vita can tap into your PlayStation 3. So PlayStation 3 games and content are easily accessible on the go. The world is in play with PlayStation Vita.
PlayStation.
All right, and we are back. So this is a question. Oh, hey, by the way, I'm Jeff Rubinstein from the PlayStation blog, and this is John Kohler from the Senior Director of Hardware Marketing and Handhelds for PlayStation. We are taking your questions. These came in over the weekend on Twitter using the PS Vita chat hashtag, so thank you very much for getting them in, and we'll tell you what that was worth in a little bit. But this is a question that we've gotten a lot, and the reason we get this question is because I think our fans really want us to succeed. They want us to do the best we can for for PlayStation, and I think they don't want to be the only one playing a Vita. They want other people to know about it, and that's why DeLongevity said, in all caps, "Why are you not advertising? Why aren't we advertising?"
I love the all caps. So let's take a couple of things first. We've been on air with our partner Taco Bell since the end of January, so many of you have probably seen that spot.
During The Walking Dead last
night. Yeah, that's right. So certainly runs over and over and over again, and I think it's really been a good way to get the message out about kind of the gaming functionality of Vita. But about 1 million of you have entered to try and win Vitas through Taco Bell, so that's been incredibly successful since we just kicked that off recently. But today is the launch of the formal campaign. Actually, we're up on billboards and digitally, and we start the TV campaign here later this week. And there's a ton coming, I can tell you this. It's the biggest campaign we've ever had here at PlayStation. I've been here a long time. Many of you know that, but been here a long time. We've never had something this large, and it's the #1 priority for the company, I can tell you. So we are going to blow this out. You're going to see these commercials everywhere. You're going to see, it's going to be pretty hard not to go somewhere and see something pertaining to Vita at this point. We're going to be allowing you to play. In fact, you can actually go play with Vita in GameStop, Target, and Best Buy as of today, and you can continue to do that through the balance of the year. But I think what's important is you're going to see Vita, TV, and digital ads through the entire year. And I think a lot of you have always asked, how come you go dark? You always go dark. Like, I don't see these ads. We're not going dark. Like, this is going to be a year of Vita. A lot of Vita spots coming.
All right, well, why don't we actually break the seal and see the first PS Vita commercial? I haven't even seen this one yet, so
it's a good one.
All right, let's turn it up.
It's a problem as old as gaming itself. Stay home and just keep playing, or get to work on time so your coffee breath boss doesn't ride you like a rented scooter. Who says you have to choose? Your PS3 stays home, but the game goes with you. Never stop playing. PlayStation Vita.
All right, that was our very first Vita commercial. Very nice, thank you. I guess this is your responsibility. You made that, right?
Yeah. We had a great time shooting that. We've got a few others that are coming. We're going to release the next few days. But if you'll notice, what we did with that is we're really trying to hone in on the areas that differentiate from mobile and tablet. And we talked about it earlier. One of the big ones is cross-platform play and kind of syncing with that PS3.
And if you want to see more of those commercials, we're going to actually have them tomorrow morning, Tuesday morning, on the PlayStation blog. So just make sure to come on back, and you'll be able to stream them. And we're going to have more than one up there.
We'd love to know what they think, too.
Yeah,
What's your
please.
Comments about those.
So actually, something else that sort of jogged my memory, we saw MLB and we're talking about cross-platform play. Question that has frequently come up was about games like MLB or Warrior's Lair, where you're going to be playing and sort of having a persistent character, on the PS3 and on Vita with, Road to the Show or your character in Warrior's Lair. Is that cloud that we talk about with the save game going up, is that PlayStation Plus? Do you have to have Plus to utilize that cloud?
You don't have to have Plus. You can actually just save it if you'd like and continue as you go. So, no, Plus is not required.
Okay. So this is something that,
Yeah.
does
Good
get
question,
asked.
though.
So, all right. Hey, another one. Legit Sniper, 1, 2, 3. More like legit counter,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Sorry. How many games will there be for the PS Vita by the end of the year?
Do you think Legit Sniper is interested in shooter games?
I think there's a reasonably solid chance.
There's a few shooter games coming of interest, I would say. I mean, we designed this with the first-person shooter in mind. I mean, that's why you have dual analog sticks and the different ways to control. So we've got over 100 games in development. There's 25 games coming launch day. It's the most we've ever had. I think the thing that's been interesting over the last 3-4 years that we've gotten the publishers involved. The publishers actually helped us design this as well, because a lot of them were saying, well, we want to make a console experience, and then we want to be able to have something similar on handheld, not a port. There won't be ports on the system, but we actually want to make something that, it makes us feel as if it's got the depth and the richness that we create on the console side of things. And so you see a game like a Call of Duty, the Activision developers are saying, look, the only place that we can actually get a console-type experience is actually on PlayStation Vita. So that's a game coming in the back half of the year. You've got games like Assassin's Creed and BioShock and even from us, Resistance, Little Big Planet. Really the biggest and best games are coming. I think if you can think of a big PlayStation game kind of within our ecosystem, it's coming to Vita at some point.
All right, very good. What are you looking forward to?
Call of Duty.
All right. Well, yeah, I'd love to see it, but yeah, Gravity Rush, which I can't wait till we announce a date. But that game's looking
that game is
unbelievable. I actually imported it today. Did you? Yeah, I don't speak any Japanese and it has no English in it, so we'll see how that goes.
It's got that Inception-like experience. So
exactly.
It's really fun.
Yeah, I've just played the demo too many times. All right. So, well, let us move on. MRL Comedy. Says, for a game like Rayman Origins, if you earn the same trophy on both the PS3 and on the PlayStation Vita, does it count twice? Well, I've played both versions of Rayman Origins. So, can we get a shot here? Yeah, Roddy. So, here is my trophy list. And am I holding it right? There we are. Hey, thumb in the way. So, here's my trophy list on the network. And, all right, so I just started Rayman Origins just basically to test this out, and we got this question in. So there it is, and the question the trophy that I unlocked, I think it was Bettina. Yeah, Batilla's back. Okay, so I unlocked that one the other day. And so let me go down. I was playing it in December around Christmas. And here we go. Rayman Origins. It says PS3 under it, and I have more trophies there. So it is not duplicated. It counts as two separate trophies. I mean, there was that one, and then I got a couple of different ones. So, and now I'm looking at this is a game I need to play more because it's really good. And when you see it on the Vita screen, especially, it's like insanely good how it works. But yeah, I'd say you played it and you platinumed it on PS3. You can platinum it on PS Vita, and it's double your points.
Yeah,
so.
And that's actually great when you go into Nier and you can show that to everybody.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So I need to do that.
Yeah.
So one of the titles that we've been talking about, we're talking about shooters, and the very first FPS that is going to be hitting the PS Vita is Resistance Burning Skies. So something that we haven't been talking about is what does the box look like? When does this game come out? So exclusively here today, we are going to tell you that Resistance Burning Skies, there it is. That is the pack front, as we call it in the business. That's the box. And it does look very nice. And it is coming out. It is coming out in May. And the teleprompter will slide up and it will tell me exactly, there it is, May 29th, 2012. So you are going to get that first FPS experience on May 29th, just a couple months after launch. And I will also tell you that Resistance Burning Skies brings a full-fledged console first-person shooter experience to portable device for the first time ever. Dual analog sticks, as we know. And the thing that I think I like, and we were sort of talking about, and another question that did come through, and I guess it didn't make the cut, was like, well, how does R2 and R3 work? You don't have an R2 and an R3. Well, you have the touchscreen, and that's sort of like essentially, an infinite amount of buttons, and the way the game works is that you're controlling and aiming down the sight with L1 and shooting with R1 as you'd expect, but then you can just sort of drag a grenade over here, or you melee just by tapping your thumb onto the screen, and it works really well. So, and then a lot of games we're seeing using the back touch instead of like an R2 or an R3 type of button. And Resistance is one of the ones to use that. It's very non-intrusive and easy to use as far as those types of moves go. Okay, so we'll just slide that prompter up here.
One of the things too in Resistance that's great, and a few of you may have seen it in some of the CES trailers and whatnot, was just how great it looks. I mean, that's another game that makes it look like it's a PS3 type experience. Just beautiful. So we'll actually have that at some of our social clubs here in the next few weeks and months. And so,
actually, we have video. Do you mind Hogan or whoever rolling that video for us? Yay! There. I've played this yet, but I've been playing a little bit of while for like me to adjust to the fact that yes, I am playing a shooter, on a park bench essentially, or on a bus, and you get so absorbed into it, you forget that you're playing on a handheld device because it's just something that you couldn't previously do, and it's like you have that muscle memory built in, and it just works. I think that's one of the cool parts.
The 5-inch screen seems to be perfect for the kind of experience. That was another thing we were wrestling with as we were going through design. It's like, how big do you make the screen? I think the 5-inch actually was perfect for that. I mean, we designed it with games like Resistance in mind. Like, you could be able to get that full immersive experience and forget you're actually on a bus and miss your stop. Most people are.
All right. Well, thank you, John. Well, I think we've addressed like most of the main questions coming through. We've talked about the PS1 classics. They are coming. We have talked about the remote play, and we've seen some demos, and we know what it's capable of, and this is something you guys are interested in doing. We've also talked about the game that is coming with on if you activate AT&T, and that is Super Stardust Delta, which is awesome. And what was the other major question?
We showed the TV spot.
Oh yeah, we showed the TV spot. Yes, we are advertising, and we've seen Resistance Burning Skies, which we now know is coming out May 29th. Anything we didn't touch on? Anything that you want to bring up?
Well, I would just say that the lineup of games has just got me most excited. I think that's the thing as we go through the back half of the year. One thing we've talked about is that we didn't want to just launch and then say, oh, come back at the holiday, we'll see you then. It's like every month there's big games all the way through, and I know a lot of games you're looking forward to playing. I'm looking forward to playing. You're going to see that. I mean, now we know Resistance is in May, right? So you got, the Mortal Kombats of the world, and MLB and
Unit 13, they're both hitting in early March.
Unit 13, those are all following launch soon thereafter, and then we get into the back half of the year. So there's just so much coming.
And these are launch titles, so you're not even seeing really the ultimate amount of what our developers are going to be able to produce.
That's the other thing. Wait till the holiday and beyond.
Okay, so like we said leading off, the first of you are going to be able to get a hold of this in just 2 days, and the rest of you hopefully by the 22nd. So we do look forward to your impressions. Let us know what you think. Obviously, just hit us on Twitter, like you always do, and let us know what you want to see and what you're enjoying and what you're not, because we do take all that feedback in mind. And John Kohler, thank you very much for spending time, and all of you, thank you very much for sending in questions. Oh yeah, so Resistance Burning Skies coming out May 29th, and for all the people that send in questions that we've answered, if we called your name out here and we answered your question, we're going to send you a voucher code for Resistance Burning Skies on the day that it comes out. Can't give it to you before that, that I know of. If I can, I'll do it. But what we'll do is we'll contact you via @PlayStation, and we're not going to ask for any information. We'll just DM you, make sure you're following us, and we'll direct message you a voucher code at the end of May. But if we used your question, then we will pay you back in kind. So, well, not bad, 45 minutes.
Pretty good.
And so, if you have further questions, we are going to be putting out an FAQ later this week. And, of course, just ask your questions. We like to answer them. We answer them on the blog. We answer them on the PlayStation Blogcast, blog.us.playstation.com, or facebook.com/PlayStation, twitter.com/PlayStation. Anything else that you need to know, hey, there's our name. So we're saying off. I'm Jeff Rubenstein. John Kohler, thank you very much for spending time with us this afternoon, and we can't wait to see you on Near, and enjoy your Vita.
That's right.
It's a problem as old as gaming itself. Stay home and just keep playing, or get to work on time so your coffee breath boss doesn't ride you like a rented scooter. Who says you have to choose? Your PS3 stays home, but the game goes with you. Never stop playing. PlayStation Vita.
The PlayStation Vita inspires new ways to game. With PS Vita, new gaming experiences are possible. Vita's new control features make it easy to play. Now, the biggest and best games are even better. Change the way you play. With the AT&T broadband network, experience real-time connection to your gaming community. PS Vita 3G plus Wi-Fi lets you play when you want and in more locations. With Party, you can invite other players to the game and voice chat during gameplay, even if you're not playing the same game. With the PS Vita, you can create your own levels and content. The Near app lets you find other players nearby and allows you to share gifts with them. Continually updating leaderboards allow you to post your top scores and keep an eye on the competition. Discover augmented reality. With the Vita's front and rear cameras, what you see in your world becomes a part of what you play on your Vita. Never stop playing with PlayStation Vita.
PlayStation.
Great veins of gold course through the walls as blood from the beast of mammon.
You do know this says keep up.
Yeah, I know that. We got special permission.
And there below the throne of the morning star, a golden abyss to guard the gate to hell.
It's just the beginning. Come on. You two were getting all cozy down there.
Nate, the rope's been cut.
Like, move! Move!
PlayStation.
With PlayStation's cross-platform play, you've got game wherever you go. With cross-platform gaming, you can play your PS3 game, pause it, and pick up right where you left off on your Vita. PlayStation 3 and PS Vita players can also go head-to-head, thanks to cross-platform gameplay. And with remote play, your PS Vita can tap into your PlayStation 3. So PlayStation 3 games and content are easily accessible on the go. The world is in play with PlayStation Vita.
PlayStation.
It's a problem as old as gaming itself. Stay home and just keep playing. Or get to work on time so your coffee breath boss doesn't ride you like a rented scooter. Who says you have to choose? Your PS3 stays home, but the game goes with you. Never stop playing. PlayStation Vita.
The PlayStation Vita inspires new ways to game. With PS Vita, new gaming experiences are possible. Vita's new control features make it easy to play. Now, the biggest and best games are even better. Change the way you play. With the AT&T broadband network, experience real-time connection to your gaming community. PS Vita 3G plus Wi-Fi lets you play when you want and in more locations. With Party, you can invite other players to the game and voice chat during gameplay, even if you're not playing the same game. With the PS Vita, you can create your own levels and content. The Near app lets you find other players nearby and allows you to share gifts with them. Continually updating leaderboards allow you to post your top scores and keep an eye on the competition. Discover augmented reality. With the Vita's front and rear cameras, what you see in your world becomes a part of what you play on your Vita. Never stop playing with PlayStation Vita.
PlayStation.
Great veins of gold course through the walls as blood from the beast of mammon.
You do know this says keep up.
Yeah, I know that. We got special permission.
And there below the throne of the morning star, a golden abyss to guard the gate to hell.
It's just the beginning. Come on. You two were getting all cozy down there.
Nate, the rope's been cut.
Like, move! Move!
PlayStation.
With PlayStation's cross-platform play, you've got game wherever you go. With cross-platform gaming, you can play your PS3 game, pause it, and pick up right where you left off on your Vita. PlayStation 3 and PS Vita players can also go head-to-head, thanks to cross-platform gameplay. And with Remote Play, your PS Vita can tap into your PlayStation 3. So PlayStation 3 games and content are easily accessible on the go. The world is in play with PlayStation Vita.
PlayStation.
It's a problem as old as gaming itself. Stay home and just keep playing, or get to work on time so your coffee breath boss doesn't ride you like a rented scooter. Who says you have to choose? Your PS3 stays home, but the game goes with you. Never stop playing. PlayStation Vita.
The PlayStation Vita inspires new ways to game. With PS Vita, new gaming experiences are possible. Vita's new control features make it easy to play. Now, the biggest and best games are even better. Change the way you play. With the AT&T broadband network, experience real-time connection to your gaming community. PS Vita 3G plus Wi-Fi lets you play when you want and in more locations. With Party, you can invite other players to the game and voice chat during gameplay, even if you're not playing the same game. With the PS Vita, you can create your own levels and content. The Near app lets you find other players nearby and allows you to share gifts with them. Continually updating leaderboards allow you to post your top scores and keep an eye on the competition. Discover augmented reality. With the Vita's front and rear cameras, what you see in your world becomes a part of what you play on your Vita. Never stop playing with PlayStation Vita.
PlayStation.
Great veins of gold course through the walls as blood from the beast of mammon.
You do know this says keep up.
Yeah, I know that. We got special permission.
And there below the throne of the morning star, a golden abyss to guard the gate to hell.
It's just the beginning. Come on. You two were getting all cozy down there.
Nate, the rope's been cut.
Like, move! Move!
PlayStation